So, Marcel, you said you're in the dorms. When did you move in?
So I flew in like 3 weeks ago, and obviously or 5 weeks ago, I should say, actually 4 or 5 weeks ago. And obviously, with the rules of the Pennsylvania Health Department, I had a quarantine for 2 weeks. So that's what I did for the first 2 weeks. I quarantined, and then after that time limit expired, I was able to move into the dorms, which was like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Uh, how you hanging there? You working out and stuff, trying to stay in shape? I know
Yeah.
that.
So when all this hit, I was here for like the first 3 weeks of spring break. Everything got pushed online. They closed all the gyms here, which was unfortunate. When I flew back to Florida, same situation. A lot of stuff was closed. Thankfully, I was still able to train. The fields were open in Florida. So I had a group of guys that I've been training with for like the last 5 years and got together, trained when we could at the fields. And then a couple weeks after, the gyms opened up. So I've been staying consistent with my workouts and keeping improving, as far as fitness, being technical, all that goes.
Uh, have you watched the MLS's back tournament? I know it wrapped up last night, but
Yeah. No, I have been. I've been like any opportunity that I can get. Like Bundesliga was the first major league to turn back on, and then followed by MLS. So once I heard that the MLS was gonna start premiering again with that tournament, I was excited. It was it was in Florida and Orlando, so not too far from me. But it was exciting being able to tune into it and get into conversations related to soccer.
do you have a favorite team to support, or do you just kind of just enjoy watching?
No, I've been avid supporter of Liverpool for like the last 5 years. Steven Gerrard's last season, actually, because the kind of player he was just, like he's the kind of person that you'd want on any team. Like regardless of what team you're in, you would want that kind of character inside the locker room at all times.
Is that kind of how you try to model yourself for Keystone men's soccer?
Uh, I don't know. I'm not, you know, I wouldn't say so, to be completely honest with you. But it's just like I try to be someone that you can go to if you need me to. I like to be. I try to, bring up the intensity when it's low at times. But I wouldn't put myself in the shoes as Steven Gerrard.
What would you say would be like your favorite moment with the soccer program so far?
I would say, I gotta think about this one. I would say there's about maybe two. So the first one being the first game my freshman year when we came to Keystone. It was who did we play? Gosh, I forgot the name. It was a game before Dickinson. Elizabethtown, I think it was.
Mhm.
So we, first time really going on like a nice coach bus, going over to play them. And it was really interesting because I didn't know what to expect. It was a big freshman class. No one really knew what to expect. And it was just a game that was goal after goal after goal. We ended up winning in double overtime from a goal from, I think it was Ibrahim. And it was just such a good collective effort from the team. And it was, I think I have a video posted on my Instagram, but the celebrations in the bus was just something that I haven't been able to experience too much. And that was one of them. The second one I think would be last year when we played Centenary. And we ended up beating them. I think it was 3-2 or 4-2. I don't recall. But just Manny coming out of nowhere with that solo effort, and because we were down 2-0, I think at the break,
Mhm.
and then we just start coming back goal after goal after goal, and it was just like I don't want to coach my yell at me for this, but some of us were kind of already expecting to go home with a loss, but just the individual effort by Manny and just the celebration was something that is going to stick with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I remember that Elizabethtown game you're talking about. I think the game was postponed or had to be moved because of torrential
Yeah, it was
downpours
postponed like
down
2
there.
hours, and we were just sitting in the bus. Like coach was talking to the other coach because of the rain, and we ended up saying, you know what, screw it, we're gonna play. We're gonna go to this other field, get it set up. So it was an interesting night.
Yeah, the E-Town SID at the time was emailing me and saying, "Yeah, like we might not have stats. I don't know what's going to go on, and I'll
Yeah,
do the best I can." And lo and behold, they pull out a nice double OT win there.
like I said, that was also a memorable moment that is gonna stick with me for the rest of my life.
Have you been watching anything on Netflix of noteworthy just
Um,
to recommend people to watch?
I would say yes and no. I mean, I've been more watching just like binging on YouTube more than anything, but not on Netflix, but on Amazon Prime. There's Hell's Kitchen, which the 17 seasons are on it free to watch. So I've been binging that because I've always enjoyed like the culinary aspect of things. So like cooking, baking, prepping, all that kind of stuff is just interesting to me. Like it's kind of like a therapy, you could say. So I've been binging that for most of the summer, to be honest. Whenever I have free time, I'm not training.
Nice. What would you say would be your favorite meal to cook or to eat? If you had
Um, let's see. I learned how to make a proper burger from Gordon Ramsay. Like
okay.
there's always a big misconception on like, you have to do it this way, you have to do it this way, you have to use this meat. And the way he just kind of explains it, actually during this December, I got to go to his burger restaurant in Vegas. And the same recipe that they used over there is the one that he has on his show. So just being able kind of to emulate that recipe and make it my own and have that, Michelin star quality burger in front of me to cook at my own convenience is nice to have.
Do you use ground beef? Is that your go-to?
Honestly, not at all. I eat beef like maybe every 2 weeks, maybe. I've been trying to shy away from red meats for the last 2 years, I want to say, for multiple reasons. But no, obviously, I always like to treat myself every now and then. But a nice burger every 2 3 weeks is nice when you have that recipe up your sleeve.
Maybe you'll have to cook for the team here once
No,
once
that's
I come back.
that's Dana's job. That's Dana's luxury for us.
Yeah, Professor Dana Harris, she does a really nice job,
Oh,
and
yeah,
when
she
you
does. Trust me, she very excellent cook. She is.
when you guys are going to away games for NCAA tournament or whatnot, myself and Dr. Gamalio come over and have some food too, and it's
Oh
always,
yeah, you guys
really
got to
good.
take advantage. You free food. You can't go wrong with that.
uh, what would you say right now to like your teammates? I know they're probably home and kind of gearing up to get back to campus, but kind of what would you say to them to kind of keep a positive attitude and outlook moving
Well,
forward?
obviously everyone has a different view on this. I some of the upperclassmen, like I don't think he'll mind me saying his name, but Jalen Walters has been very open on trying to stay positive, and obviously it's a big low blow. And if I could say, everyone has different views on this, like I was saying, and if I could say anything to them, is to don't let this change your work ethic, because a lot of the guys that at least from the returners, we'd always want to take an extra session afterwards. We'd stay over after the night sessions to work on extra things that we maybe feel we needed to work on a bit more during the night. So things like that. So I'm just hoping that everyone still comes in with the mentality that sure, our season's cut short, but think about it like this. We basically got granted an 8-month training period to prepare for the following season. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that's what I would like to remind them is like, hey, yeah, sure, we don't have a season, but look at the bright side. We can get the nicks out. We can, fine tune the engine. And that way, if next season rolls around and, we're able to play, hopefully this will be gone by then. We'll be, we'll make a very, a history making statement for Keystone.
I like that. Sometimes for freshmen, incoming freshmen, it's tough, or transfers, getting acclimated with your teammates and campus and that sort of thing. And then they're thrown right into the fire with games and practices. So hopefully it helps
Yeah.
their transition out a little bit too.
It is. It was a big transition for me too, my freshman year. I never had I was never in that kind of team setting, like for club in high school. Like it was always you did what every other player did, and then I'd get thrown into goal in the after trainings. I wouldn't have goalkeeper training unless only when I had my personal trainer with me, my goalkeeper coach. But other than that, I was basically on the field. So when I transitioned to Keystone, having my first year Coach Pete and then last year Coach Danny being able to work with us, you feel a bit more appreciated. And it's like you were saying, you got just thrown into the fire. Like, you're carrying the responsibility of a school's reputation on your shoulders. You know what I mean? for
Mhm.
everything they do. So I wasn't, sure how to handle that at first, but it took me about 2 weeks to get the kinks out and, settle in.
Uh, if you had, advice to give for incoming freshmen to coach next program, what would you give them?
I would say be yourself, because you don't want to come out as someone else and then 2 weeks later you kind of show who you really are, because that um it's not that it'll affect your game time, but it'll affect how people see you and how you're going to be perceived by not just coach but anyone else. So if you're someone who likes to get the last say in, then maybe not necessarily do that all the time, but don't be afraid to, bring out that personality if that's who you are. You know what I mean? Don't try to shy away. And then in a moment of frustration, that part of you comes out and, you're kind of seen differently. So I would say whether you're shy, whether you're a person who always likes to, put their say in, their 2 cents in, be the kind of person that you are. And obviously show the same respect that you would to coach to anyone else on the team.
I like that. That's very valuable. Not only to your teammates coming in, but to anybody coming into college
Yeah.
for sure. Whether they're dealing with a coach or professor or administration, it's definitely good advice. Well, it's nice to see you back on campus, Marcelo, and thanks for taking time today to do this. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, Ryan. Have a good one, man. Stay safe. I'll see you around campus.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.